Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Terry at Holding Your Space, and this is Annie from ANNIEBEAR7F.
Hello.
Welcome to the channel, everybody. Oh, I look so dark in here. Sorry about that. I need to get more light. Hi, Flowing. How are you doing? Viviani, thank you for being here. Teresa Ford. Hello, everybody. I'm
Oh,
so looking forward to everybody being here and talking to Annie. Flowing.
Teresa Ford has been so encouraging. Teresa Ford had left me comments, and she's the reason that I started saying a few words before I share a poem because she said, it would be good if you were on a little bit longer. So I'm trying, Teresa. Thank you for your encouragement and
Oh,
support. I really appreciate it.
she's so sweet. Yeah.
She really is. I don't know how she's everywhere at once. She's like a butterfly.
She's like a butterfly.
I don't know how she does it.
Tell me about it. So we were just talking about our heritage and how it's all mixed up with this and that, and it brings so many different gifts to the table. A rich heritage like that. And I kind of think that's where the world's going, right? Everybody's bringing together all our gifts and becoming one big collective, um, more conscious
It's a
place.
big puzzle, huh? It's a big puzzle to put together.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great way of looking at it, a big
yeah.
puzzle. Yeah. So, Annie, I'm so glad you're here because I've been reading your poetry and you
Thank
always
you.
have really interesting things to say, your comments. It's like you come out with things at the same time I say them a lot of times.
Ooh, that's fun. I like that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know, like a library of books. That's right, Teresa Ford. She is. Oh, in the and globally too. And yeah, so it's funny. It's like we're kind of on the same wavelength there a lot of times.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
really
that a lot.
fun. Yeah, so I always appreciate you being in. Yay, Jane's here. Hello, Jane the
Hi,
secretary.
Jane.
Nice to see you. Long time no see, my friend. So, Jane's in California right now, but we did.
That's right. She's helping her mom, who's going to be 89, I think she said.
Yeah.
Is 89 or going to be 89 momentarily. Yeah.
Yeah, she's getting there, huh? That's amazing. Yeah, I just it'll be fun to get there, I think. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think by the time we get there, because we're so far away from it, um, that I foresee like a lot of new medicines coming in, and that just naturally our generation's going to live a little longer if we want to.
Oh, with all the CRISPR. We've been hearing about CRISPR technology for a long time.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm hoping that too. I just want to make sure I have my wits. That would be helpful.
yeah. Right.
So,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. It's well, and I think that sometimes we've come in and like a lot of us as light workers have been through a lot. So sometimes we're just about done too.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes it's a little exhausting. It's
yeah,
because even in our daily lives we can see different, I mean, like we were talking, you can see different timelines happening. You can see people living in different spaces.
right.
And some it makes you a bit kind of move away from them a little bit.
Yeah,
Bless their journey and maybe find like-minded people like we have here in our community. It's a
yeah.
haven. It's a haven to have this community online. It is just
Isn't it?
wonderful. Oh, it's so wonderful. I have struggled with being introverted, um, and this has just been absolutely wonderful. I had been out and about in the world, and then I pulled in. You know how you go through seasons of that where you need
Mhm.
to grow quietly a little bit
Yeah.
and then come back out. And I love the community we have here. It's just wonderful.
It really is. I mean, and with the pandemic, we definitely had a season for going inward, which was such a gift. And it's great, Annie, that you notice that because a lot of people don't notice that we need a time to go inward
Yeah.
and kind of disassociate. I've done that in my lifetime when I was younger.
Oh, sure. because
Yeah.
some growth happens in the dark,
Yeah.
like when the seed's powering up.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely. Um, yeah, so Jane, CRISPR technology, it's where okay, I'm going to describe this in a very non-scientific way, but they take the DNA, your code, and there's a tail there, and I can't remember what the tail is called, but they connect to that somehow and can change things that like little parts, like if you get MS or something, you have a different it's called a T something, I think. Somebody will know about it here. I'm
I
sure.
know it's gene splicing, but that's about it.
Yeah, gene
Yeah.
splicing, and it's that
Yeah.
cell that they connect to that changes things.
Yeah.
Uh, Jane says, "Introverts unite." So,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
And I'd be curious. Like I've had this thing my whole life. I don't know, maybe you guys too, somebody else too, um, where I live in the Pacific Northwest and moss grows all around the tree, not just in the north. So when I see photos of Native people going like this, I think that's my relative going, "Where am I?" I have no sense of direction. I can get lost anywhere.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. My late husband was a land surveyor, and
Oh.
he loved it. He was always out finding, like, getting your home, your corners done, your
Oh
land.
yeah, yeah. We've had that done.
Yeah, down to
Property lines and yeah.
yeah, and I think it has to be down like a half a thumbnail or less,
Whoa.
just down to the minutest uh,
Mm.
percentage of an inch, and he had no sense of direction. I was always telling him where to go.
GPS is just wonderful because I used to do 4 years of volunteer work at an animal hospital, and part of the wonderfulness of that was being able to return the wild ones back to as close as we could to where they were found, so they could rejoin their families,
Oh,
rejoin their territory. So it
yeah.
was a great honor to be able to do that, but I didn't have GPS. So I would follow the written down directions, and many times I would call my husband. He was at work crying, going, "I don't know where I am. I can see I-5, but I don't know how to get there." So GPS is wonderful.
Oh, it really is. And somebody says it's telomeres. Oh, thank you, Maruta. A telomere is a region of
Oh,
repetitive DNA sequences at the end of the chromosome. Yeah, telomere.
wow, Maruta, thank you.
Yeah, Maruta's always knows what's going on. I knew
Dang, I've got
she
no.
would,
She knows.
right? Yeah, because words are not my first language. Speaking of which, you have a beautiful language with poetry.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
do love it. I do love it. It's just the gift that came. That's the gift that came. It's kind of funny because I've tried to write stories and stuff, and they turn into poems. So I really, really, really enjoy it.
that's
Um,
beautiful.
when Terry asked me so kindly, because she holds such a lovely space for all of us, when she kindly invited me, I told her, I said, "There's one poem that I'd really like to read to the whole world if I could." And she said, "Absolutely." So I'd like to read it to you now.
I'd love that.
And I'm going to follow Terry's advice. She said, "Take a deep breath." Like she tells us, take your 3 deep breaths and just really, really share it. So let me try to do that. Let me do that. There is no try, right? It's called The Great Mother. Picture this as if you've lived a walk that's been so busy, and you've done it with everything you have in you. You've just, and now your walk is done. Now you're in review. So let's take that space of mind and hear this. The Great Mother. Walking back with a lighter step, I see now why the goddess wept. The earth, her daughter, had a love so wide, she'd become a whole planet from deep inside. The goddess, our mother, has dreamed it all entire and knows all the traps 3D can inspire, giving us bodies, hoping for love and rest while we live out the lessons that teach us best. She exemplifies how beauty rises to the fore, a beloved of ours from way before. There's so much love in the heart of this world. It's like eagle's wings, slowly, powerfully unfurled. I don't know how they forgive us or even let us live. I just try to walk softly and share all I have to give. I think her mate is about to arrive, and we must resonate with this in order to survive. See, love is a power too great to comprehend. That's why she allows us to walk back through again. Blessings above you, blessings from below, blessings all around you wherever you may go. Be a blessing, she whispers. Love me as I love you. And remember always, Creator loves you too.
Beautiful. Just beautiful, Annie.
Thank you. I'm so happy to share that.
Love it. I love it. This, I don't know if you were going there with this, but it just kind of reminds me so much of this is the time of the divine feminine,
Oh,
that
heck
we're
yeah.
coming into.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And divine feminine, she gives life and can take it away.
Yeah.
Divine feminine is justice for everyone, man and women. Balance for everyone. And shake it up. And I think we need that. I think we need things shaken up that are anything man-made that's that complicated is bound to fall apart. So it's kind of spectacular to see it all imploding now, some of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And Carol says, "Oh my God,
Oh,
AnnieBear, that is amazing."
oh, thank you, Carol, with your beautiful horse. Thank you, Maruda. Thank you.
And Maruda says, "Beautiful."
Oh, thank you, Maruda.
Everybody's loving it in the chat.
Yay.
Oh,
Hugs.
Lynn. Hi,
Hugs. Clink. 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 Oh, thank you, Teresa. Hugs. Big hugs.
Yeah. Clink, clink, clink. Zip,
Clink.
zip, zip. Yeah, I love that. And I feel like a lot of your poetry is kind of like a mantra, like a part of a meditation. Is that how you get there?
I'm so glad you asked me that because I was telling my husband, Paul, he got home and he said, how'd it go with your friend Terry? And I'm like, oh, it was wonderful. And she's so kind. I said, but love, she said it's like a mantra. What's a mantra? I'm like, I thought mantras are like, or I am something, something. So I don't know what she means, but it sounds very kind. So what is it?
Well, a mantra is like a vibration.
Okay.
That's all it is. And it's just,
Okay.
there's all sorts of different mantras, but it's just a vibration to keep your, to raise your vibration, number one, but also to take you to a place, a space.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's it.
Then that's wonderful. I have one like I push just below my belly button or just above.
Uh-huh.
When I need to be centered, when people around me are acting a little whoopity whoop whoop whoop, whatever, and I'll push that in and take a deep breath in through my nose, feel really grounded, and now I can observe what is happening and decide if I want to interact with it without being drawn in. Because so many times when people we love or family or grandkids, it's easy to just like, oh, let me help you and fix that.
Yeah.
And often that's not really what's needed. So I know what you mean about a way to move your body or use your body as a key or use your body as a like, hello, let's ground. Let's be here now.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you meant?
Kind of, but also
Okay.
to use the vibration on the ethereal level too.
Oh, okay.
Because all energy is that way. It goes both ways. And because it's all one, right?
Yeah.
Just energy. Yeah, but it's just so beautiful. It's so spiritual. It takes you to a spiritual place, I think, as well as centering your body. and
Yeah.
making you more connected. Carol's asking for more, please. Do you have another one you
Oh,
want to
oh,
read?
bless your heart.
I'd love
Thank you.
to hear another one.
Thank you. Thank you. I was, this one is called Rhythm. My heart beats in a rhythm that may appear to be its own, but I think it's the Great Mother whose blood flows through my bones. Doesn't make me any more special, only sensitive and rather nosy. I like to know the flow of things, even when it's not at all cozy. Masks were dropped when I was a child. I was introduced early to the ways of wild. Untamed urges took many paths to my door. I'd been moved around many times by the time I was 4. The other side of loneliness is freedom. Not belonging gives a great span to one's reason. There's a flow to things that wisdom brings, and you don't even have to get old. Just listen to the medicine animals that cross your path. It will brighteningly unfold. Everything you loathe will start showing up. Every fear expose itself anew. And how you stand with heart in hand, that, my dear, is totally up to you. Willingness and vulnerability will take you further than a Harvard degree.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. And I love that flow that you're talking about too. So that's
Hey,
like,
Tyler.
yeah, that's my boy.
That's Tyler.
Oh, I know. I hope he doesn't do that all night. But
What's he barking at? Do you know?
um,
Is there a stranger danger?
there is stranger danger. It can be a small child, or it can be a I think somebody's out there doing some work on their yard. So
How dare they? I know our Rosie, if anybody in the neighborhood delivers, she is on it. She's like, if I can see it, I have to report.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely. Carol says she loves that.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
It is beautiful. So, and that does kind of bring me to a different spiritual path there, and a different vibration, with that flowing. Um, I think it's so pretty, so beautiful,
Oh, thank you.
and I like the part about you don't need a Harvard degree. The end.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting how whatever you need to learn shows up? It might not be at all what you expected.
Yeah,
I know when I was in my early 30s, I had read many, many Lynn Andrews books, and I absolutely adored them. And Kate Carey's book, The Return of the Bird Tribes. And I had spent a year when I was 19 visiting different churches for a year to see if I agreed with any of it.
hmm,
And then in my 30s, I was like, I'm going to be a medicine woman. I'm going to join my tribe that's nearby. And I'm going to bring many gifts. I don't know what they're going to be. And that is what I'm going to do. So I studied with someone. I told my dad, I said, Dad, this is what I'm going to do. And I said, do you have any elder in the tribe that you would suggest I go and can learn from? And Dad recommended this person. And I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do, Dad. So I went there and I studied with him for a year, and he turned out to be a not so good person. And so I learned a lot,
yeah,
but it wasn't what I expected to learn. It wasn't what I thought I was going to learn. But you know what? It was exactly what I needed. It was precisely what I needed. And the first spirit animal I saw, it was spirit animal because no one else saw it but me. And there were other people there, but I was the only one that saw it, and it was a bear.
oh,
So, and later when I confronted that person, I said, what you're doing is wrong. And I ate a feather for protection. There was I was standing in a giant bear. You know, I'm 5 foot, so the bear felt 9 foot, but it was probably 7 foot. I don't know. It was big, a lot bigger than me. And I stood within it. And that was when I felt bear. And
yeah,
I think sometimes you have to tell your truth, no matter how scared you are. You have to accept the lessons that are in front of you, because that is what you need to learn. You
right.
know, how to protect your energy. So I would cry a lot to Great Spirit and say, I don't trust people now. I'm going to just listen to you, Creator. I'm going to look for you in everything. Every situation, Creator, I'm going to look for you and I'm going to see you, even when I'm scared and even when I get in my own way, which I did a lot of times. It's like my go-to move, apparently. But I think if you look for Creator, you'll be okay. You'll find Creator, and Mother will help you. If you say, I'm a good person and I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm going to just keep doing it. I'm going to keep sharing what I have. I'm going to keep making loving choices, and love me too. I have to remind myself, because I'm very loving and giving, but I was hugging my cascara tree, and you had just had a morning chat with us, and you reminded us to accept love too. So I went out, morning prayers. I go out every day, twice a day, and say my prayers and say my thank yous. And I'm like, and you guys love, and today I'm going to give love and receive love. I swear they were high fiving all over the place. So thank you. I mean, that's good for us all to remember. You
Well,
know,
and that's for me too. I mean, yeah,
that's a biggie.
I
That's a
have to tell
biggie.
myself to do that all the time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Maruda asks if, did your father not know he was a bad teacher?
He did not know. He did not know that he was a bad teacher. And what was interesting and kind of fascinating was I told my dad, and my dad said, Annie, we've had a bunch of weird stuff happening at the house, and they've been reaching out to us, and it's really weird. I said, Dad, they're visiting me in spirit. They're attacking me in my home. So I learned a lot about protection right away. And I was always giving menstrual blood to Mother when I was a woman who had a menstrual cycle. So I really, as soon as I knew how, I built that bond with Mother. Like, this is my place. I will bond with Mother. I trust you. Not so much people. I trust Creator. So things got real.
Yeah.
I would have crows come, and I would ask the crows that come around. I would say, this is what I think is happening. If this is true, will you tell me? And they would either talk to me or they would be quiet.
Wow.
So I would be, okay. So I started looking. I would trust nature, and I would say, can you please show me, Grandfather? Can you please show me? And animals would show up, and I'd be, okay. So when I told my dad that, I went to my dad's house. I took crystal. It got super duper hot in my hand. I stayed there overnight. I pulled all the energy that was being sent, and I left early in the morning. My dad trusted me. There was respect there, and a mountain lion came, and I had brought raw chicken for her because they like meat. So it was like 5 a.m, and I've never seen a mountain lion before or since in that area. So it was like, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Spirit. So you don't have to like know everything in the world. You have to have a good heart and be willing to accept guidance. And I don't know. I have, people brag on, like, sometimes they brag on, like, I am eagle, I am bear, I am whatever. I think it's more like, who takes pity on me today? And maybe Coyote is like, oh, geez, I just helped her yesterday. Whose turn is it to help her today? And Squirrel says, I'll help her because I'm over here anyway. I think it's more like that. They take pity on us. And if we honor them and appreciate them and say, you're beautiful, thank you, then they're like, oh, I like helping her. She appreciates me. You know what I mean? It's
I love that. So, do you have like a daily practice of bringing in protection that you like to do, or how
I'm
does
just
that look?
learning something new, actually. I'm so glad you asked me that. I'm just learning something new. Excuse me, I
Mhm.
have a necklace. It's a turquoise necklace, and it kind of broke. So now it's a pendulum, and it's been just my personal pendulum for a while. And I sometimes tuck it into my clothing if I think I might need a little bit more bravery or courage or something. And my practice now is, it just started actually. I'm like a slow learner, because I would say, thank you. I always say, thank you for this day. I go out, thank you for this day. I look to the east. Thank you for this day. I prefer to get out there before it's light out.
Yeah.
Say thank you for this day in my bare feet often when I'm overwhelmed, bare feet it is, and hug my cascara tree. And we have lots of Douglas firs. We have many rhododendrons. We have an alder tree. We put in 2 native gardens. We have 3 gardens, and 2 of them are native for native plants, native animals, and habitat areas for them. But
Beautiful.
anyway, the new thing that I started doing is I'm like, it just blows my mind. I'm like, okay, 100% divine white light, because anything else I will transmute your ass. 100% divine white light. That's what I do. That's what I do.
I love
So,
that.
so I say 100% divine white light, guides and angels, the spirit team. Please let all energy that I accept go through you. And any energy that I send and share go through you for the highest good of all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I do that because in many ways, even though I'm 61, in many ways I have sometimes the sensibilities of a child. I can get angry very quickly. I can get my feelings hurt very quickly. I can misunderstand very quickly.
You're sensitive.
And I don't think that kind of energy should be in charge.
I love that.
That just sounds like a recipe for more learning.
Oh,
So I just started to do it that way.
mm,
And it helps me to kind of come out of my shell a little bit too. To
yeah,
feel, to know that protection is there. All we need to do is just ask.
right.
Because as soon as I asked, I felt a warm enveloping, like, well, finally you asked us. We've been dying to. But
Right.
we
We're
have
on a
to
free will
now.
planet.
What's that?
We're on a free will planet. So we
Yeah,
do.
we have to
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. The universe is going to give us energy, regardless of what we ask for. So, or if we don't ask for what we want, they'll give us something else. So, yeah.
Well, I never, since I was maybe 31 or 32, I stopped asking for strength because I had been asking for strength a lot. And when you ask for strength, you get lessons that you have to be really strong to get through. So or if you say, give me patience, then you get situations you have to be patient. So now I kind of play it safe. I just say attitude of gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
And Mark the Spirit Whisperer, he taught us a cool little ditty, a little song last week. It was like, I am a money magnet. Money is attracted to me. And I added, I am happiness magnet. I have everything I need. So
Love that. That's
just kind
beautiful.
of playing it safe,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Maruta says agates and jaspers are very protective too.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. And they're so beautiful.
Right? They
Yeah.
are. They're gorgeous.
And mystery.
I love using stones. Teresa says, I'm often asking the universe to help me to ask for the right stuff already.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear
I
you.
hadn't thought of that. That's a great idea. That's perfect.
Yeah, that is a great idea.
Yeah, so I'm taking this course in Beyond Surviving, and
Yeah.
it's about learning to be happy from all our growth opportunities, right?
Yep.
And surviving them. But
Mm-hmm.
but that's one thing that we talk about is if you have something that you want, like an I am strong, I am protected, whatever, or anything that you want, even manifesting something, if you put energy into it of playfulness, of joy, then it connects with your brain and it connects everything so much faster by singing it or dancing it or making it into a poem.
Oh,
Yeah, anything that you can do creative like that just helps that connection in your brain and in your mind so much faster.
oh, that's lovely. And that makes sense too, building a bridge.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
A
that's
vortex.
cool. I can kind of see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds wonderful. Oh, Jane says FGOs. That's right. Effing growth opportunities.
Yeah.
That's what they.
Those.
That's for sure.
Those. Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah. Um, well, I love having that morning thing. And if any of you have a morning thing that you do, a morning thing,
Yeah.
let us know.
Yeah, that'd be great to hear about.
Yeah, I have a before I get out of bed, I do a really quick chakra balance, and I
Oh,
just go
okay.
through the colors in my head and back down, and then I grow my heart. If I'm thinking about it, I grow my heart chakra as fast as I can. But I always call in all my angels and my guides, and like you said, walking with that protection makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And that's one thing when people come to me, or either readers or teachers or somebody, they always say, "You have a really full room." And I said, "Yeah, I always have a pretty packed house."
I bet. I bet.
But yeah, just
What were you saying about growing your heart? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
yeah. So your heart chakra is the largest chakra that's included in your body, and it goes out 75 feet in the front and 75 feet in the back. So each morning, if you can just push that out and all around your house, and unconditional love and healing love and spiritual love, all the love, all around your house and all around you and all around those that you love. It makes a big difference.
Okay. Wow, that sounds really powerful. 75 feet.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
cow. It's a wonder we don't swagger around.
Right? It's a wonder we don't fall over.
Yeah.
I guess it keeps us up. Teresa says, yes, engaging both sides of the brain. That's right,
Yeah.
Teresa. It's a,
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah,
Well said. Well said.
yeah. Jane says, like singing the alphabet song, right? So these are, and my teacher, she was a nanny for a while, but you know how in school they always say the things that we use for kids that don't learn like the other kids, which was me, um, which I didn't know at the time. But if anybody has a learning disability or any sort of a they in need of any type of modification, that singing something
Oh,
or doing something, you just learn it that much faster. So it's
wow.
so much easier for
Yeah,
you.
I'm going to remember that. That might be very helpful to share down the road. Or yeah,
Yeah. Maruta
good.
says, positive emotions activate manifestations. Exactly, Maruta. Yeah. And closing them in that positive energy makes a big difference. Um, the other thing that I love that you're doing, Annie Bear, is you're doing it at morning, at um, when the sun comes out, and it's sunrise and sunset are such a magic time,
Oh, powerful time of the most powerful times of the day.
right?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
Sunrise and sunset, and I like to say thank you. Good morning to the day, and thank you for this day.
yeah,
Um, in keeping a happiness journal, when my counselor of 17 plus years said, why don't we add to the practices you're already doing? And why don't you start a happiness journal? She goes, you have to write down 3 different things every day. And I was like, oh my God, Amy, 3 different things every day? And she's like, yeah, you heard me. So after a couple of weeks, when we spoke again, I'm like, Amy, you were right. Now it's like, I thought it was going to be so hard, but there are so many things. Some days it's 5 things, some days it's 7 things.
yeah.
It's a small thing, but it's really, really powerful.
It really is. Yeah, to recognize
Yeah.
that. Yeah, your wins every day, um,
Yeah.
and rewards too. So you know that's rewarding in itself. But going through something and figuring it out, or if you've got any issues that come up and you say, okay, I'm going to work on this and this is how I'm
Yeah.
going to do it, and you make yourself a plan, but
Yeah.
always make yourself a reward at the end. And they said a lot of people, they do this but they don't do the reward, and the reward is the most important part, because that's when your brain clicks on and says, oh, okay, I'm going to get something out of this. I'm going to get those
I,
endorphins.
I didn't know that. I
Mm.
had been working on this really weird thing. I'd had that surgery in 2020 and almost died. My abdominal aorta burst, and it was COVID, so my husband couldn't be in the hospital, so I was isolated. And
Oh,
after 3 days of being intensive care, um, I told them I'm leaving. And my husband was beside himself and found me a surgeon, and 3 women surgeons put me back together. And within a year, I was healed. One of the things that it was extremely, what do you call that? PTSD dumped on some more to that.
Yeah.
And so it was a good opportunity to go through some massive fears and a change of diet. And I'm sorry, I will make this very brief.
No,
So
no,
before that, I had not had any issues with driving. I drove all over the place all the time. But after that surgery, I didn't want my husband to leave the house. He stayed home once I got out of the hospital and was repaired, or, as repaired as I could be. He stayed home with me for, I think, 3 weeks because I was afraid to be alone.
Oh.
And because it's just us now. Our children are grown and have kids of their own. So then eventually I was able to drive, but I couldn't drive on the freeway anymore. For some weird reason, I would just shake and my arm would get hot and I was very afraid. And so I was working on this ability to be able to drive again. I'm like, in my dreams, my car always represents my life. So my counselor would say, "Who's driving your car? Let's look at this."
Yeah.
So almost 2 months ago, someone stole it out of my driveway. So I don't have my car anymore. So when my husband retires, then I'm going to continue. And I think what you've just said is going to unlock something, because I was pushing myself to do this and I was driving, but not on the freeway. But I never promised myself any kind of reward.
Yeah.
So now I've got 3 months of free time to think of what kind of reward I'm going to give myself.
All righty.
Yeah.
I have.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I don't drive on the freeway either, AnnieBear. I don't know if anybody else is like this, but when I drive on the highway, I can't feel my body. All I can feel are my knuckles.
Oh, that's
And
not a good feeling.
it's
That's not a good
very
feeling
quick.
at all. Well, I was like determined. I'm like, why am I behaving this way? I am not. What is wrong with me? And I don't want to be a person. I don't want to take drugs for it. I want to work through the issue.
Right.
I want
Right.
to actually work through the issue. And I think it had something to do with, trust, definitely with trust. So do I trust I obviously don't trust others that well, like medical people. They can be very helpful, but they can be very scary too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I need to be able to trust myself. So I hope that I can learn the lesson of that, because, if we don't learn it, we get to learn it somewhere else doing something else. And I just soon get it over with.
Right.
I just soon figure it out. But,
Teresa says, I don't drive at all. I always wonder about this with empaths and sensitives, because I know a lot of sensitives that don't drive. Judith Orloff, very famous empath. She's written a lot of books, and she's a head of the psychiatry, I think, department at not UCLA, but Pepperdine. I don't know, one of the big ones in California. And she doesn't drive at all either.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a thing that happens sometimes.
I had no idea that there was really, I had no idea.
That's
so kind of comforting.
It is kind of comforting, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm still going to
try really beating myself up on this one.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, really, for 3 years.
Thank you. Yeah, I was talking to Paul about it, Paul Rudy. He does sound healings and things like that. And
said, I watched him on your channel. Yeah.
Yeah, he said it's the chi. As the energy comes at us, it's just too much energy, too fast to be able to handle it. But I don't know.
Well, for years when my husband drives, if he's not making me anxious, but you know how you can go down a street and you go, oh, that driver over there, they're so stressed out. That person is so lonesome. That person is so sad over there. So I tell my husband, that lady's so sad, smile or something. She needs it. It's going to make a difference. Mm-hmm. Do something nice. Look for things that you can do nice for strangers. Because many of them that you don't know. Right. It can't hurt. Sure as heck can't hurt. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Can I read you one more poem?
I was just going to ask,
Oh,
please.
cool. Oh, cool. I was trying to find one that might be for our community because I really want to share for our community.
I would love that.
This one is called Perhaps. When at first time was started, it seems you and I were abruptly parted, each with gifts and talents to hone, tasks to accomplish each alone. With muffled steps we traveled, while our memories unraveled, until our hearts with purpose surrendered, allowing karmic debts to be cleared and tendered. Trading hopes for healing, because truth is more than a feeling. It is the only measure for finding our true treasure. From the time this world was new, I've been on my way to you.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Hugs, everybody.
Mm.
Consider yourselves hugs silly.
So, what does that last line mean to you? Because that just kind of brought it all home for me.
Ah, the oneness that we so seek. It's so scary, but that's really what we're about.
Yeah.
We do this over and over again. We're called on this special. We go into places on purpose, and we get scattered about, and we are love, and
Mm.
that when we do that, we become one again. And maybe it's scary every time. I don't know, but once we're ready, it's the only way we know how to be. You know, I think we're really good at this. When we're not in these bodies, I think we are badasses.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we go into places where things have gotten really goofy and we light it up. And it must be hilarious to watch, because on another level we're all knowing. And we come down here and we're like bumpity bumpity thump.
Yeah.
It's gotta be entertaining. Right?
Oh, our guides must be having a good laugh, let me tell
Yeah. Yeah, the goddess herself, you bet.
you.
Yeah.
Mm. Oh, that's so sweet, Teresa.
Oh, I love you too.
So kind.
I
Yeah.
love
I
you.
just
She's
miss
been
her.
so encouraging. She really is so encouraging. I
Oh,
really appreciate it.
she's amazing.
Yeah.
She is.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we have a lot of sevens in common too, me and Teresa.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. She was leaving me comments about things, and it's like we do have a sister thing going on. So my
Hmm.
stomach's growling.
My stomach just growled at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Our little bear tummies are talking. Feed me. Feed me.
That's so funny. Right. Well,
I'm so excited for that shaman lady to come on. When is she coming on Saturday?
yeah, she'll be on Saturday, BC. I had a energy healing with her yesterday.
How was it?
It
Can you
was
tell us?
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
She has I've never heard of this before. Maybe some of you guys have, but John of God, he was in I can't remember if it's Venezuela or Colombia. Anyway, she has a light bar from him that emits all the different light vibrations. And then she has it's like a tuning fork mat that you lay
Hmm.
on.
Okay.
Anyway, though we did it virtually, she had both of them on,
Okay.
and she goes into Saint Germain, works with him, Archangel Michael, Metatron. Um,
Wow.
yeah, she brings in some powerful energy to her,
Wow.
just lots and lots. Yes, that is the one at 1:30, Lauren. Yeah, yeah. So
1:30 Mountain or
1:30 Central. Sorry, I always
Central?
say that.
Central. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So, so how do you feel about? I feel like your poems are healing, and so I'm not surprised that you were studying to be a healer. Did you take that any farther, or do you feel like that's what your poetry's doing? How does that work for you?
It was funny because each time I decided, okay, now I'm going to be this, life would bring me lessons. It's like, okay, okay, little one, that's great. That's awesome. So if I really was like, okay, let's look at your psyche, let's look at your body, let's
Hmm.
look at issues that you're holding there, because I would love to go fix about 12 other things than look at myself.
Right?
So guides and angels are like, that's awesome, but I think you might want to fix this first. so, so I just got more humble. I got more humble. You know, not that I wasn't humble, but I was very headstrong. I made up for skill with massive enthusiasm. so um, I was a caregiver for older folks for 7 years, and they had dementia and issue, health issues and things. But they were such a gift because I had not been around grandparents. Um, I had known my grandmother for a short time. I'd known my grandfather for some time, but not actively. So getting to know this couple, and um, so I think I continued my work. It just wasn't the way I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And so I worked a lot with animals. I put in like 10,000 hours of volunteering with animals,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
at dogs, and speaking on their behalf to the city to try and change ordinances. And then with a zoo, with the orangutans and with the African safari animals. And then at a wildlife hospital, where we did everything from birds to squirrels to raccoons, bears, deer, possums, all kinds of animals, red-tailed hawks. I've held, hawks and eagles and geese, and that was like the happiest time of my life, was when I was dirty and picking out poo, making special diets for special animals. And animals are the best teachers, because every single time you do it wrong, you bleed. So if you feed a crow wrong, you bleed. If you, it's just, and that's the kind of teacher I actually need.
Wow.
So I think I didn't continue as a healer like I have a shingle outside the door.
Mhm.
But I think Spirit was so kind and creative with me, because they knew that I had trust issues and was introverted. So they would let me learn these lessons with the animals themselves, because they're like the best teachers.
They
You
really
know,
are, aren't they?
they're the best. They are the best. And they look right at you while they're doing it too. Like, you did it wrong. You get it? You get it now?
Are you listening, lady?
Yeah. How about now? They're the best. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's so beautiful. Um, and we were talking about ancestry earlier too, because
Oh,
um,
yeah. Yeah.
I feel like, I've got this mix of this Norwegian Catholicism coming at me, and then this German Jewish stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of it brings together a really nice um, not global but interesting gifts. I think the ancestry does.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like that has brought like a lot of like that you can call on your ancestors, and that helps with your work and your
Well,
poetry?
I've dreamed them a little bit. I used to dream a woman named Amalia, and she wore a flower sack dress. And there was a time when women made their dresses out of real flour sacks.
Yeah.
And so I told my dad about it years ago, and asked him, do we have anybody Amalia in the family? Is there anybody I'm related to that's called Amalia? And he goes, there was a lady that wore a flour sack dress. So I don't know to this day, because he's passed. So I don't know if she was an ancestor or my guide.
Yeah.
And I think I used to go up to the old ones. It's a burial place way up in the mountains by Darrington, and I would go. And there's many hairy people. The Sasquatch, the hairy people, are there, and I would feel them, but I was a little frightened of them. So I would just say, "I love you. I am here. I'm here to pay respects to my ancestors," and I would build a fire. And so I would go there quite often. I would bring food. I would make my drum. I would drum a lot. I would find wild strawberries. I would follow, like, I would get lost a lot because no direction. So, like, blue butterflies would lead me where I needed to go, because I'd be in tears going, I want to find the tree so I can say hello to my ancestors. I can't find it. and they would lead me there, just a little, and get me to the right place. So I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time there, and I dreamed my name. My name, the 7F at the end, is ANNIEBEAR7Feathers, and
Oh,
the 7 feathers. I dreamed it, and I dreamed teepees that were made of stone, and I dreamed horses that were underground and whole. And this was many, many years ago. So I went to shaman and asked, what does this mean? What do I do? I did sweat lodge. I did sweat lodge for many years with a trusted couple who are like parents to me. And so I would do sweat lodge because I needed to find answers from creator at this point. I wasn't really, I didn't want to follow anybody. I just wanted to
yeah.
get to the real story here. And I didn't want to make myself fancy. I just wanted to get to the truth. So I felt like ancestors I'm sorry, I'm meandering. I feel like
No,
ancestors helped.
perfect. I love this. Yeah.
I think they helped me find the answers that I needed. And my grandmother, Gypsy, who died before my dad, when my dad was a child. Of course, I never met her. And you had kindly mentioned earlier that you felt her around me, which just makes me sing happy
Yeah.
because Gypsy was a seer, and she foretold her death. She foretold her children's fortunes and how they would be, and they found those in pieces of paper in the floorboards and of their home. And she had an invisible cat, and my dad told me about seeing the invisible cat because he'd see the indent in the bed that it slept in. So I've always been fascinated by this woman I haven't met, and I love her name. So I feel like if we respect our ancestors, they'll help us.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be seen and loved and remembered. And even the ones that screw up, they probably want to help us more. Like the bad man who was a bad teacher. He was a bad man.
Yeah.
He passed, and I went to his funeral, and I stomped on the ground, and I spit on the ground, which is powerful. It's really powerful to do that, and I don't do it very often. But I'm like, boom. But he'd probably help me more than anybody because he's on the other side of the veil now, and I don't know. I think it's wisdom is where you find it. It's not always where you expect it, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, Hypnicity has a great question here.
Hi, Hypnicity. You're close to me. I'm up in Everett, and you're in Linwood.
Oh, wow.
Oh, good question.
He's an energy healer, but I'm also a sponge. How do I handle absorbing others' energy?
Sweetheart, darling, I would say energy can only go up to here. Now Terry's the healer. She can answer her own answer, but I would only allow it to come. And then I would just clap to the west, and I would rinse my hands off because you're not doing yourself any favors or them any favors by absorbing their energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I always say shields up, shields up. But then I have to remember to let those become more porous. But usually shields up means it's reflected back and nothing can enter in. If you ask, like, everything has to go through your spirit team, whether you're sending it or receiving it, they'll get you covered. You know what I'm saying? So they won't. If we remember to ask them to do that, they will. They will. What would you say, Terry?
I would say the same thing exactly.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, and sometimes even when I'm doing a healing, I'll put on gloves and
Oh,
even take them off and put them in a bucket that gets incinerated. It depends on how big the healing is and how
okay.
much energy is
Okay.
there. But yeah, and using those protections of your ancestors and your angels. That's
Spirit
huge.
team. I've done energy work with people years ago where I put various stones
Oh
near
yeah,
their feet and above their head, and then after the healing was completed, then I would take those outside and I would put them in the soil. Sometimes I've had rocks in the earth for a long time,
wow,
depending on what was needed, and then let the moon help cleanse them before I bring them back in because you have to protect your home and yourself. You know.
right, yeah, yeah. And I think that's oh, Teresa says Also, rub a little salt or salt water on your hands. Yes.
Yes, yes. Salt water is the best. Yeah, and rainwater, and yeah,
And those gloves
absolutely.
are, they're not real. They're just imaginary gloves. I don't think I said that, did I?
Oh no, you didn't. Okay, I was trying to picture the gloves, so thank you.
My
This is not
hand,
really.
though it'd be great. It'd be wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so having something that helps. So what do like do you work a lot with the directions and the elements of the planet, like the water, the earth, the what else? Water,
I
fire.
like energies of place. I really like when we travel or I go somewhere where I might be uncomfortable. I'll be like, okay, energies of place, because the medicines are there all over the earth. The medicines are there.
Yeah.
And if you reach out with a nod of respect, I am here, I'm visiting, I'm passing through, I wish no harm. I just feel safer that way. That way I'm connected to the earth's grid no matter where I am, no matter what kind of situation or people are about. I touch base with that. And I have a thing that I ask because I was really into crystals for years. I liked those a lot. Like a lot of people really liked books, and then it was really into crystals and all sorts of stuff. But then I got and pendulums, and I asked a long time ago, Creator, can I have a pendulum in my throat? Can I
Oh,
please have a pendulum in my throat? Because I'm not always in a situation when I was younger that I need you. I need to know right now.
yeah.
So Creator's like, sure. So feel it in my throat on this side or this side. And I'm like, okay. So even now, when I use this, I can feel it in my throat. So then I thought, okay, Creator, what about what's in my left elbow? This thing that I'm needing, where is it? Because this is my key to the living library. It's right here. And I don't want to get to the end of my walk and go, well, geez, you didn't even use your key. I don't want to be clever. I want to be very, very clever while I'm here. I'm determined to find creator in everything I can. So I'm kind of experimenting with that. Like, does my right knee resonate with that over there? Because I want to be clever as I can be.
That is amazing because that is so true. I find that the more you bring in your awareness and your senses to every
Yeah,
living thing, um, and really witness it, it makes such a difference with your connection to spirit.
it does. Because like I've gone outside and I was used to be with groups of women and we do moon lodge all the time and we do gatherings and we bring our food and we do our ceremonies and women's from all over, from all walks. But I would lead the prayers and the wind would come swooshing in. So I would say, Sister Wind, can you help us today? Can you put blessings on this person? Or help this sister who's trying to let go of a burden? But everyone can do that if you just go out in your garden or wherever you are.
Yeah.
Third floor, doesn't matter. And ask Sister Wind, can you come and visit her? I love you. You're beautiful today. She'll answer. She
Yeah.
really will answer. I encourage to interact with the world because it's so lonesome for us. It's so lonesome for us to recognize it and welcome it. So everybody do that.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love that.
it's a very fun way to live.
Oh, okay. Lauren says, yes, I ask my spirit to assist in any way they find necessary daily to do for me what I cannot do for myself. My energies do not get drained like they once did.
Oh, that's awesome, Lauren.
Lauren, I love that.
I do too. That's wonderful.
And Teresa says, hypnicity, you can create your own ending ritual to tell the energy that it is time to disconnect from you. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hypnicity says, I've been searching for a shaman because I'm having trouble healing myself. Is that weird? No, because I can't read myself either. Like if I can do readings for other people, but doing a reading for myself, I can do healings for myself, but it's much more effective, I think, to have somebody else do it for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I mean, I don't think it's weird at all.
I
Yeah.
would tell a tree about that. You know, cedar, you could find cedar hypnicity, and alder's the teacher, a teacher tree, and alder's like the first one to show up after there's been damage of any kind. Alder trees are the first ones to come in to rebuild things. So you could talk to an alder tree hypnicity and give it a hug and say, I am asking for my teacher, shaman, healer, 100% divine white light for my highest good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's sort of like ordering from the divine menu. So you put your order in, you say thank you, thank you, thank you, and then you stop fussing,
Yeah.
and they'll come.
I
You
love
know.
that. It's a perspective thing. You need a little distance to truly see, Teresa says.
Oh yeah, I am so busy getting in my own way. I couldn't heal myself to save my life.
um, and I know that a lot of teachers would be telling us right now that, but I'm talking like Eckhart and Deepak and those
Oh
guys,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Sadhguru saying, "Oh well,
Doctor, heal thyself. That bit. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's just energy. If you believe that, it'll happen." So, well, we're on an hour now, but I was wondering if you would give us another poem, Annie.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed this so much. You're absolutely wonderful the way you hold space. You're just a
Oh,
joy.
thank
You
you.
are a joy. Um, oh, there was one I had on my phone because some poems are in the book and some poems are.
And these poems you wrote quite a while ago, some of them, didn't you?
Yes, I told my husband, I said, I really want to share these poems before I write any new ones. These are the gifts that I want to share because I've been pulled to start writing, and I'm like, I want to share these poems. And then when these have helped the community, if they help the community, then I might begin to write more poems. But I want to paint. I'm really torn. I want to make children's stories. When I had that reading with JJ Tuta speaks,
Mhm.
everybody, oh, she is amazing. She's amazing, amazing. I just love her.
I do too. I love her.
Love her.
Yeah.
Absolutely love her. And she was telling me that that's my language that I can share. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. But anyway, here's a poem called Growth. Knee deep in questions, I withdrew within, waiting for resolution to seduce purpose again. When flowers of wisdom are opening slow, remember underground is where they first start to grow. If growth has a compass of some singular mark, it reaches for the light of Creator's spark. Darkness is a part of the cycle too, so don't be afraid when you find it in you. Weed through the choices. The light's not very bright. Sorry. Buried deep within. Weed through the choices buried deep within. Then rest as we must before a new cycle can begin.
Wow.
Growth. And that kind of touched on that what we were talking about earlier about sometimes we grow in the dark. And that's valuable too. You know.
Right? The shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's funny because first, it's like little kids taking a bath. First, you can't get them in, then you can't get them out. And sometimes with same with shadow stuff, like can't get them to look at it, and then you can't get them out of it. It's like it's part of the growth. It's not the whole thing.
Oh. Oh, Hypnicity asks, do you know Andrea Skywalker?
No, I don't. I never heard of Andrea Skywalker.
Pretty
I
name.
I know of Robert Morning Sky.
Hmm.
Today, again. Where's Andrea?
She hasn't said yet.
Yay!
Oh, and Lauren says,
Yay!
It's powerful and beautiful. And everything is a cycle, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
and now that the world is expanding and we're going into the divine feminine, and time is no longer linear, right? It's a
Yeah.
cycle. And it
Yeah.
always has been a cycle, but now we're starting to see it, I think, the energy and the
Yeah.
vortex and how everything moves. DNA.
Yeah. We're definitely starting to feel it for sure. For sure. For sure. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for having me on today. What a wonderful time. Hugs, everybody. Thank you.
Annie, thank you so much. And thank everyone for being here.
Yeah.
Lauren, Hypnicity,
Yeah.
Teresa, Hershey, um, Jane.
Yeah. We all have gifts. We all have our gifts to share.
We do. We all have
Yeah.
gifts to share, and it is all a big teacher's lounge here, isn't it?
It really is. It's a big puzzle. We're all a piece of it, so yay for weird and odd and introvert. Yay.
Power. Definitely power to us, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hugs, everybody, and hugs.
Hugs.
And
Yeah. Have a good rest of your day.
if you want to stick around, I'll just end the broadcast.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, Luanna.
Bye. Thank you.